Good morning, traders. 22nd of May. This is your weekly update. My apologies for getting on a little late this morning, so it's just a little after the fact. But the approach always remains the same in terms of, you know, the locations and your moving averages. So let's cut right to today's morning session and get a pretty good idea. And this is once again showing you how well price reacts to these significant MAs, and I'm going to quickly show you these daily charts. Although the ES and the NASDAQ have been really just jamming, they're well above all their moving averages. And in fact, there's just a tremendous disconnect between the Dow and both of these markets. It just seems like most of the investments and equity purchasings are going into NASDAQ and the big five. So I think, moving forward, there will be a few things to think about. How well will the ES hold 4,200 since that's been a pivotal location that they've been struggling with? So we're going to keep an eye on that. But also, how much will they start taking profits in the NASDAQ or keep pushing it? I mean, if this market really is going to just take off, I think the broader market needs to get involved. And this is what kind of is a little bit confusing. There is no investment in a lot of the Dow stocks. It's all going into here. So, if this thing jumps on board, and I'm showing this here today because look how well it played out. I mean, this is a great trade in the Dow. It got all the way up to its top moving average, which was five and change, and it basically completely rolled. I mean, look at this, and it rolled hard. Came to the next MA, rolled hard again, and it just jammed all the way down. And this is kind of a big area in the Dow. And I've had this line here for a long time, this 33.2 and change, and this is going to be fairly significant. You can just see how this has been holding, and in the past, when we got through it, we couldn't get through it. So going to watch that level as well. This is just moving forward, but it's going to be whether or not the Nasdaq rolls, and Nasdaq is really going to be safe all the way down to about 13.6, and the Dow as well will be pretty good all the way down to about 41.65. But it's going to be about what we do around 4,200. So let's get to today. So here's your Nasdaq morning, and everything pretty much happened early. And here's the Dow. So ideally, you want to take the first hard reaction off of your first resistance level. I was watching this, I was expecting this, but this happened so fast. I just didn't want to chase it. I'm not going to get into a 21, a 42.20 reversal short at like 40.15 or 40, well, where that's just kind of over. It's just been pushed too hard. I waited and I waited for it to react off of here. I took the short in this little pocket right here around 15, and it just rolled. So talking about targets, talking to location, my expectation was at least it's going to come to here, which is the daily pivot, and then it becomes whether or not it holds. And the daily pivot you can see right here. So this is a good trade for runners. I took some off here, and it just fell apart one more time. And this was just a gimme. I just took them down here, and I was done with it. This reaction off of 91 was absolutely impossible. I had nothing really here to even anticipate this. Doesn't make a difference. You can see the bounce. That is a 1 minute chart. That thing just rallied all the way back to 4,200. And this is where the Dow has just been, or this is where the ES is just meandering. So you're going to want to pay attention to the pivot and the 4,200 as the day progresses. And you can see, look how well the NASDAQ also played out. Came down to its pivot after that hard sell off from resist R1, came down to its pivot, and it found support, tried to roll one more time, double bottom to just above it, and now it's rebuilding. And the Dow is trying to come back as well. You see it's in between the MAs, and it's kind of building some structure going back up. In fact, you could probably draw a trend line here if you wanted to. Well, that's not a good one, but take my word for it. You can see that we're making these higher lows. Going back to this chart just briefly, we talked about this little flag pattern here, and how the market was just squeezing. Where were we going? But what the market kept doing, it kept holding 4,100. There was a lot of bad news that was coming into the market, and we couldn't break it. And you could just tell that we kept having these higher lows. We also were having lower highs. So it was like, where are we going? And then this 155 was a big number. This whole rally kind of came off the anticipation that they were going to complete the debt, raise the debt ceiling, which they haven't, which is pretty interesting because the market's already factoring it in. I mean, I think it's a foregone conclusion. It's just political, you know, uh, debates between just getting their concessions, and it's just a matter of time. It always gets raised, but they always drag it on. It just gets a little dramatic. So I think the market's factored that in already. But this is a breakout. It's a legitimate breakout, and it's pretty bullish. So, you want the opportunities to get long when they present themselves. But I think that the trade still remains the same. That you're going to take, if you get these higher openings or these run-ups into new highs, you're going to have to expect some type of weakness at the extremes. So, that's what you want to pay attention to, and that's what you got this morning in the ES. You got that early. They jammed them straight up. I mean, this came right at the open, and this is actually a tradable. This is a pivot reversal going up, but I mean, it's happened so quickly. It's so early in the morning. You had to just be ready for it, and it just exploded. And this is another trade that are you going to just chase it? Ideally, if it meanders and it gives you a breakout, you do want to buy it. I just don't know where you would have got it. It happened so quick. I actually wasn't even paying attention to it. I just wanted to see how it reacted right here at R1, and you got what I was anticipating was possible weakness up here. It's going to be whether or not they can hold these higher levels up here. So, will they go back up there? It looks like they're trying to. So, take advantage of it. You can see right here, even if they made that hard low, that they came on one more time. This is probably the next opportunity right here, somewhere right in here. This is holding the pivot. They took off. You would have wanted to take the long, but you can see it's kind of choppy. So I wait for a better opportunity as the day progresses. But this is the playbook for today, for the week. Will we hold 4,200? Take advantage of it. Obviously, we want to be long, but you want to be long from the right location. So, you know, you don't want to jump on gap higher. You want maybe a gap lower in a bull market, in a bullish trend for the run up back up to fill gaps. But let's just see how this plays out. Once again, there's some big gaps underneath us, but they're so far away. It doesn't make a difference right now. So here's your playbook for today, the 22nd of May. Hope you guys had a good weekend, and I hope you guys have a nice week. Take care.